There we go. Hello everybody, and today we're back with another stream. And yeah, so for this stream, it's gonna be probably more adding of the handlers from our previous stream. So shut that off. Okay, I'm just reorganizing everything so I have it ready. So okay, we got that there. Okay. So remember from last stream, we kind of created two post routes here. These two post routes are going to be where we can create our source and create our measurement units. Sorry, if you heard that. Just taking a sip of some coffee. Okay. There we go. So we can probably remove some print statements here. Yeah, there we go. So we kind of have all this going on. So I'm gonna pull up the external. So, and I'm gonna open our PPMC planning document, I guess. And yeah, so we can create a source, we can create a measurement unit. I guess now let's add creating a meal, which should be pretty intuitive, right? So let's go 16k. Let's create another struct. So here we'll name it pub struct, and we'll name this create meal. If we look over, what we have to pass is just the name of the meal. So let's do name and then a string, and then yank for, or in this case, AK paste, debug to serialize, and then it's going to be pretty similar to this function. So let me go 1, 2, so what, 3 words, change to the end of this. Let's do create meal, and then 2 forwards to here. Let me move this, and then change inside here. Let's name this as create meal, and let's, yep, the payload should be that. And so we're going to do insert into, let's do a capital F, let's search back for another this, back, change this entire word, and let's change this insert into meal. Let's put name, values, this, and we're going to pass in the payload name. And yeah, this should work. Guess what we'll do now, okay, so that's my, let's get rid of that, and let's go to main. Let's go here, forward to this slash, right? Can I do that? And then change to the end of the word, or let's go change to the end of the word, and let's name this create meal, forward to the underscore. It's, 4 to the M, change to the end, let's name this meal. And should have the state. Let's run cargo clippy. Everything seems to be fine. Wants me to collapse this nested if block. Alright. We can just run this while that's building. Let's do curl -x, the type of, request we want to make, the link that we want to hit. So localhost 3000/create meal. Header type should be content type. Content-type application. So Control E. Let's just honestly wait, no, let's just go, let's look for curl create source, just edit this as create meal. We'll keep the name of this meal, we'll name this cinnamon. Is that how you spell cinnamon? Cinnamon. Yo, forgot. Alright, let me cinnamon. Alright, pulled it up. Ready, guys? Let's see if we can name it. Cinnamon. Cinnamon Toast Crunch with whole milk. And I want to know, what is the command? I think Emacs command to delete. To delete to the end of the line. I don't know. This, I won't find it. I know Control E to the end of the line. Let's delete all of this. Okay, it's running. We are going to create meal, and we're passing in the correct thing. Obviously, we didn't have any output, so let's do SQL white 3 space ladder. Yeah, I think there. Clear this. Let's do a select star from meal. Right? Name Cinnamon Toast Crunch with whole milk. Yep. And then we can just do exit clear. We shut this down. Okay. So we can create our meals, create our measurement units. We have a route to also create our source. Let's now move this. Let's move this back here to trying to find where. Change this. Where's my, what was it? Oh, here. Let's look for this. Let's move this way, this back here, and yeah, that's kind of how I want my setup to look. We can create a meal. There's no way to create your ingredients just yet. So now this is where it gets somewhat complicated, right? So when we create an ingredient, I need this like ingredient creation thing to happen. And I believe I had a bookmark for this somewhere. I forget. Maybe I have to go into my history. It's just gonna be a lot. Maybe recently closed tabs. Or do I have it open somewhere? I don't think I did. Or I do. Let's see. So history, recently closed tabs. Oh no, I don't want to reopen all my tabs. Search history. Not there. I don't think I'll find it. Alright. I'm thinking, okay, whenever we create an ingredient, it needs to be, we need our mapping for the meal. Wait, I think I actually saved it somewhere. Okay, I found it. So it was this right here. Let's move that. So you create an ingredient. The payload should also include no, when we create the ingredient, we'll need the ingredient ID that's created from that. No, okay, no. We'll have a route to create the ingredient, and then we'll just have a route to add that ingredient to the meal. Just easy as that. Right. So let's not overcomplicate everything. So what I'm gonna do now is let's create our route for our, let's go to 20J. Actually, let me move this over here. Let's create our 38K. Let's go here, Shift V, 3J. Now we don't need to rewrite everything, so let's go arrive, debug, deserialize, pub, struct. Let's have this as create. Create ingredient, and then it should be name string source ID. I-64 amount. Excuse me. Amount should be of I-64 as well. Measurement unit ID should be of I-64 as well, and then we'll have our price, which should be a float 32. Let's go to let's go 5K shift 4J yank 4J paste 3 words. Then actually let's go 4 to underscore 4 change to the end of the word, so ingredient 2 forwards here, change inside here. Let's name this create ingredient. Let's move this way. And now let's change this. So insert into change inside word ingredient. And what did we do up there? Yep. So it'll be name, and then name. And I'm pretty sure we created it just like that. So I guess before we do anything, let me go to here. Let's go to our database. Let's do a slash ingredient. So that's exactly what our name is. So let's go here. Let's go back to our handlers. So name, source ID, amount, measurement unit ID, and price. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's go 21K. 4 to the next parentheses. And inside this here. Let's go back to 21J. And then moving inside here. Paste. Let's go back. I'm gonna delete this. And then dot bind payload dot source ID change to the end, amount change to the end, measurement unit ID change to the end, price. And then let's create the route. To C, 4 to M, change to the end, ingredient. Let's go 4 to the next C, 4 to M, change to the end, ingredient. Alright, quit all. Let's move this here. Let's do a Control R. Run. Now let's look for the curl, and let's do create ingredient. And yeah, let's do an ingredient for. So I guess before we do this, I mean this should fail because obviously so it's fine. I just wanted to have that ready to run. Let's do SQLite. and I need to see select because we need our source ID and our measurement unit ID. If you guys remember, um, we need valid IDs for this because they're foreign keys. So we need valid IDs. So I'm gonna look for a valid source ID to use. So select star from source. So we have vitamin D milk. So we should add I'm gonna add cinnamon toast crunch cereal. So let's do and then real quick add cinnamon toast crunch cereal, and I think that's it. Yeah, so let's do that. So dot exit, let's create a new source. So let's create a source. Yeah, create source. I like that. Create source. Let's name this as here. We can pull up the information regarding cinnamon toast crunch. Boom boom boom. Let's do how to change all within quote. I'm looking up quotation marks and Emacs because I select in between. Alright, so we'll name this source cinnamon toast crunch, brand cinnamon the brand of this is General Mills, so I set control and the meta keys. Okay, I'm gonna press enter here. Oh, I know this would actually work, so I guess to test this, so let me do Control Shift C, and then let me just paste this here. Do I have Emacs installed? I do. Oh. I think it's called Control X. Yeah, Control X, Control C closes Emacs. I want to test this, so Emacs test.txt. It's created the test.txt for Emacs. Then I'm gonna go back. Let me look for this. Is what I want. So Control Shift C, Control V, or Control Shift V, or CY. There we go. And I want to change in between here, so the Reddit post or the Stack Overflow post says try the sequence control meta U. So control meta U, control meta space. So control meta U space. guess Emacs doesn't have anything. I guess Emacs doesn't come built in with like marking or expanding region in between. Wait, oh, it's a Control Shift U. Hmm. What's my meta key? Oh, it's all on Linux. Okay. So it should be Alt, but that's a thing that I have already changed. So I think here it should be R Alt Control, and then I think Shift Dex is also my control, seems to be. So uh, so Alt Control U. What is my S key? What is the S key in Emacs? So Alt Control Shift. Wait, Alt Control Shift. Wait, and this is you. So Alt Control Shift. So Alt Control Shift U just highlights everything back. What if I just keep spamming that at the top level? What is next visible thing command in Emacs? Wait, I think I just saw it. Find the occurrence of tag. I don't know, I don't see the Emacs hype, bro. I low-key need to do a thing where I switch to Emacs for like a week and see what happens. So let's just Control X, Control C. My bad. No, I don't want to save the file. All right, 5, and then let's swap 1 and 5. All right, and then let's do the Control Shift V. Yep, we have that there. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Let's do the brand. The brand will be General Mills, and the price that I purchased this as was at $2.97. Servings per container is about 8 servings, and then obviously the serving, I believe it's serving size. Wait, let me just search up milk. Oh. There we go. Okay. Yes, and we do have the grams, and 2 I believe is the grams for, is it? I don't remember exactly. So I'm gonna, other monitor, I'm gonna go into SQLite 3. Yep, and then let me do a select star from measurement unit. So 1 is grams, 2 is milliliters. So this will be 1. The serving size will be of 41 grams. Servings per container will be 8. Price is $2.97. The brand is General Mills. So General Mills. And what did I get? And let's see if we can spell cinnamon correctly. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Our server is running. We're gonna create the source. Source should be created, right? And then now, and I believe select star from meal. We do have our meal. So now let's create our first ingredient of the meal, right? So let's do, yeah, so we have our old ingredient. We have the name. Well, this is just the name of this ingredient will be cinnamon toast crunch, right? So cinnamon toast crunch. That's the ingredient, right? The next, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move the server over, and I'm gonna just quit that and then exit. And then the name. Then the next thing will be our source ID. So our, and then this should be in quotation marks, or source ID. And then on my other monitor, I'm gonna look at what exactly the source ID is for our new cinnamon toast crunch source. So select star from source. Looks like our source ID is 2. So 2. So space 2, comma. Next will be our amount, and our amount that we will be doing is we're gonna say 41. It's gonna be 41, and then the measurement unit ID. So what is the measurement that we used to calculate our amount that we used of ingredient? We will pass the measurement unit ID, which in this case should be, we use grams, so measurement unit ID, and we use grams, and if we remember our measurement unit ID for grams, it is 1, then comma, and then price. Oh no, price I believe is auto generated, right? I need to see the dot schema for our ingredient table. It's not. So what we're doing, one second, I'm gonna check something. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. What was I thinking? Oh, the price. Yes. Oh. I was thinking on the front end, I'll do the logic that will handle the calculations of the price. So in this case, let's just do it ourselves, right? So we see that the source IDs should match, or the measurement unit IDs should match, right? So we'll see, okay, the measurement unit IDs are matching in this case. Price will be automatically calculated on the front end side, which with a few queries, right, will whenever whenever someone puts the drop down and they start typing, we'll search and return to them the source ID in this case, right? So, or the name of the source, and we'll probably auto populate the measurement unit ID, but we'll worry about that later. So we'll, in this case, the price that we'll provide, right? So the calculations for this, I'll pull up the calculator. So calculator. We'll go down here. And we'll need to follow the steps. Take the measurement type used for the measurement amount that they used. Compare that, blah, blah, blah. Calculate the total weight of the container based on the measurement ID chosen. So it'll be servings per container times the serving size. So 8 times 41 grams. That's our total. Then take the price per measurement, doing the price divided by the total weight of the container. So we'll do, the price we paid is $2.97, and we'll divide this by our ants. So 328. We get a very small number, and then we multiply that, the ppm, by the amount used. So we'll take this and multiply by the amount used. In this case was 41, and we'll get around 0.37 cents for the amount that we just used. So yeah. So let's do 30 or 0.37. And I think we hit this right here. Let me pull up the server. Enter servers, no errors on the server side. We can now, I'm gonna bring over this, boom, select star from in the ingredient table, and there it is. Don't know what that is at the end, but, and yeah, that's kind of what we want. There's no errors on our side. We can now exit, and yeah. 1 second, I think I'll probably need to call somebody. Okay, so what was I thinking about? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna mute up real quick and take this call. Okay, I have returned. Thing we see, okay, we just hit the API point for that. And now I guess I'm gonna add the milk as one of the ingredients as well. So let's do another one. So let's name this, milk. Whole milk. Source ID will be, we go up here, we can see source ID for a whole vitamin D milk will be 1. The amount we'll do, I think like 240, and the measurement ID, if we remember, is 2 for milliliters, so we measured 2 milliliters. As of right now, we're currently manually determine the price, and I think I already did it down here. So here, so we take no diff, then we take the 16 times 240, that divide that, see cents per milliliter, we calculate it, and then it'll be around 16 cents for this. So 0.16 for that serving, and then we'll add that. Boom. No, we'll SQLite, it's clear. Is there like previous commands? Yep. So now we have 2 ingredients. Yeah, that time though, for some, don't know why I decided to go like that. I have no idea why it's doing that. Maybe is it converting? How does SQLite store floats? How does SQLite store floats? So I should maybe change this to an F64 maybe. So might need to change how I'm storing the floating points, maybe make it as an F64. It might be converting from a 32 upscaling to 64, and it might be causing issues. Or I could just be talking just dumb stuff, and I could be completely wrong. So we have those 2, right? And then now I want to add create the mappings. So create meal to ingredient. So let's exit. Let's pull up this. So we're going to create the endpoint to create meal to ingredient mappings. So, and then let's control here, and then source. Oh wait, I think I don't even need that. I think I have another. Here's the server. We'll cut that off, and then source handlers. So now we'll do our meal to ingredient. So let's come up here, let's go with 33J, hashtag boom derive, or pound, right? Debug, deserialize, let's do pub struct, create meal to ingredient. Then we'll need our meal ID, should be 64, and then ingredient ID should be an I64. I think that's it. Do I have the nvim surround? Forget, what is the 2, 3? I like there's this, yeah. So there we go. delete s, so delete s, boom, there we go. Yes, I do have it. Okay. And then let's go to the bottom. Let's go 9j or 9k, shift 8j, yank 8j, paste. I think we'll do forward to I, and then create meal to ingredient, to forward here, change inside this, and then we'll name create meal to ingredient. Let's move this over here. Then we want to insert to our table, right? So let's go. We want to go. Let's do Shift F, Shift O. This change to the end, and the table should be called meal to ingredient. And then let's do change inside here, and then we're just going to provide the meal ID, ingredient ID, and then delete till there, and then we'll do delete, and let's do 4k, so dot bind payload dot, it's meal ID, then forward to m, change to the end, let's do ingredient ID, and then let's do let's go to main, let's forward to C, change to the end, create meal to ingredient, forward to C, forward to I, meal to ingredient, and now let's run our server, and let's do something similar for the routes. So I think I got rid, so let's do curl, and let's change this, do a create a meal to ingredient mapping. So create meal to ingredient, it's going to be a JSON type. Here we're going to provide our meal ID, which should be an integer, and obviously I don't know, let's do a select star, and we want to provide the meal ID, so let's do from meal. Let's get our cinnamon toast crunch meal, so it should be 1, and then let's provide our ingredient ID, and let's provide, we need our ingredient ID, so let's do a select star from ingredient, and then let's provide cinnamon toast crunch, and that should be it. So that will hit that once, then 2, and then our meal ID is still going to be 1. Hit that another time, and then now we can do a select star from our meal to ingredient mapping, and we see there. And then now we can search for, once we have 2 meals, then I can, for meal 1 I can search for all the ingredients, and then from there I can determine the price from that. So source handlers, I'm gonna change this price to an F32, or change to the end of 64, and 64 as well. Change to the end 64. Let's run a Clippy. Everything seems to be fine. Yep, okay. So we have all of that. A few now it's more of like a planning of what other routes do I think I need. Right, so let's go to our envim source and let's go to our notes design document. We already have that, so other routes I think this web app might need. So I'm bringing this over because I need a route to calculate the price for meals, right? So I'm gonna say calculate meal price. What will this route do? So see, this route will search, and then let's go here. So I'm gonna say CMP route will search the meal to ingredient. We'll search the meal to ingredient table. It will. I want to do select star. Yes. So we'll do this, right? We'll do select star from our meal to, and think, yeah, from here, and we'll say where our meal ID is equal to 1. See? And then if we do like 2, we won't get nothing. So it will basically query this. I said query, I thought I said Siri. We'll query this, so we'll do, and then I'll do select star from meal to ingredient where, and honestly we don't need star, I need select, I just need the ingredient ID from meal to ingredient where meal ID is equal to 1. Then for each row that we retrieved, and this will be a get request. So this will be a get request. For each row that we retrieved, we will take the price, do another query. So in this case, do a select price from ingredients, or from ingredient where ID is equal to, that row ID we got from CMP. And then for each price, just add them all up. Not entirely sure how I'm going to do it. Don't want to really think about it. Just high level of what another thing we're probably going to need. So get request, calculate meal price. Definitely going to need a get request to, I think that's like the one thing I want to make sure I have for sure. Like, I want to make sure I got that down. I think once we have that down, it should like work. Another high level, and I'm just gonna spit out ideas instead of just holding them in my head. But I know, so for our price calculations for ingredients, right, we're gonna need a request that will take the source ID and the MUID, and do a lot of these calculations here. Okay, I need to put somewhere that I need to use the restroom. So let's go here. And we'll put 01:25 p.m. Okay. I'm gonna do that. Yeah. I got everything for now. What I'm thinking is, right, so whenever someone selects their source ID, right, and then the MUID, we need to calculate the price before we even send that, right? So I think we could do this from within the ingredient route. So if we go to Emblem, and let's go to what I'm thinking. Actually, let's maybe write this in our notes. So Emblem notes, design document, and then okay. So when the user makes the post request to add the ingredient, but the post request requires the price to be within. But maybe we don't. Maybe in the post request we don't require the price. Right? We calculate the price for you. But I want them to see, like, whenever the user, selects, oh, okay, I want the Cinnamon Toast Crunch source, and then they put 41 grams, and then the unit ID, I want the price to be auto-calculated right there, right in front of them, so they can kind of, at a glance, immediately see. Alright, now I'm going to BRB. What if I do mod A? Would mod A, would the OBS record my thing? Like my lock screen? I guess we'll see. Let me pull up Studio. Sorry, I'm looking at something right now. Still looking at this. Let me see. Okay. I'm looking at this photos. Come on, very interactive. Oh, I didn't get any photos. Okay. Buzz a little different. Okay. Actually, my ganas to go to the bathroom just went away. Okay, so. Oh, that's what I was thinking. I said when the user makes the post request, we'll just do all the calculations for the price. I just think every time the user adjusts the amount and the measurement unit ID has been finalized, I'm gonna say have a request called, it'll be a get request to calculate ingredient price. So maybe it'll be, you know, calculate ingredient price, and then we'll name this, you know, CIP. We'll say that take the current source ID and search and get that. And what information do we need? So I'm thinking we're gonna do some sort of like, right? So say for in the case if we're doing for Cinnamon Toast Crunch, right? Let's get the ingredient ID, which we won't have, but it'll be name. In this case, we don't really care. We just need the source. So let's do a select star. Oh, you can do reverse search, reverse index search. I don't know what that means, but okay. Let's, you know, control, is it N? Control Shift A, Control E. Let's do a select star from source. So we see Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a select, and then obviously the rows that I'm interested in. The rows that I'm specifically interested in is the price. But oh, I could auto generate it. Could I? Like, but I'd have to adjust the table. Right? We'll see. I want, what do I want? I want the price. I want the generated serving size. Maybe before we'll compare, I'm gonna do, should we compare the MUID, the measurement unit ID? before we do any, conversions, right? Yeah, but there's a whole lot of other logic I have to consider. We're gonna cut some corners here. We'll say for now we'll disregard. I feel like it'd be modular enough. We'll disregard if the measurement unit ID is different. We'll just auto calculate based on what the source has down. I mean, that's in my case on how I plan to use it, for the most part. And there might be some things that might be a little different. So we'll select the price. We'll select the total weight container. Let me do it. The total weight of container. So price, total weight of container, and that's it, right? Because if we go up to this, we can see that once we get we'll just calculate the price per measurement, which honestly we could auto generate that as well. Name that price per measurement. I think I'm gonna add that just so, like, in the case where we see that the measurement unit IDs are the same, we can just instantly pull that. And that's, one. I don't know how much milliseconds this is, but But what we need is price, total weight. That's all we need, because on our end we'll have the amount of the ingredient used by the user. So calculate the worthless price of the amount of the ingredient used. So amount used, and then times that by the price per measurement. From, and we'll say source where, and then obviously ID is equal to the ID that we chose. The current selected ID. So in this case, right, we'll say Cinnamon Toast Crunch. There. And then for that row, I'll have all this information. And what we'll do is take the current source ID that the user, we'll make that GET request. And then it'll be select price, total weight of container from source where ID, and then ID of source we want. What should the payload include? The payload should look like a JSON with amount used, amount that is currently entered within the field, source that is currently chosen, and yeah, that's it. Then do this calculation. We'll do parentheses price divided by TWOC times the amount used, so amount. Then populate the price field. Oh, and then return this GET request, and then return the price, or return this. So yeah, and then do a return, this maybe as a J return, and I'm not entirely sure what I want to return this as, but I'll just return it. Then populate the price field with that above value. So another thing I'm thinking about is think maybe a get request that searches for sources. So, maybe get source, and then payload should look like the current typed field. So every time the field updates with a new character, make a get request and return the similar values in this case, right? So, and I think we'll do a search patterns, right? So how to search patterns in SQL. Pattern matchings, yes. So we're going to use TLDR, the SQL library uses two wildcards, just %%. So I think the command should be select star from Yep, there it is. So select star, and on my other monitor I have like exact SQL, so I'm not like pulling this from my brain, right? I'm just searching up the information that I need. So select star, or in this case, we don't need the whole thing. We just honestly need select ID and name from select ID and name from source where name like, and then I think it's gonna be, is the percent? Yeah, or percent, and then in this case, in this, let's look for toast. Someone types in, cinnamon, like that, and then we'll get that. So we'll do this. So selects ID name from source name is like, and the pattern that we're interested in. Just return a list of potential sources they may be interested in. We have that, then yeah, I think so. I think something like this. So and then I'm thinking, because in the future, right, whenever they say they click the search button and then they search for a source and they select that source, right, it's a drop down menu. That, at least for me, should be sent along in the JSON payload whenever someone says, the form. So posted in the form with all the fields, right? So to figure that out maybe on the front end side, but I think that'll come. We'll have the necessary post and get requests to make to like do this, I think. So, and then maybe we'll just return a JSON with the IDs and names of the sources that we found. So yeah, what is one thing I kind of think would probably be the coolest feature or the coolest the get request that we could make, right? I think honestly to calculate the meal price would be pretty interesting. I think that's kind of what I want to do first because that one's easy to implement for the most part. So yeah, let's do that. So let's I'm gonna move this. I think I might need this. Let's do dot exit exit, and then let's move this over here. Alright, let's do envim source handlers, and let's go back to, let's go up one more, let's go into notes, design document, and I'm gonna copy down something along the lines of this. So let's do calculate meal price, right? So let me yank this and envim source handlers. I'm gonna paste this here. I'm gonna do GC to comment this out, and this is kind of what I want to implement, right? So this will be a get request, and obviously for this I need to know what am I gonna be. Maybe I don't even need to know what I'm returning, but obviously we know that. Let's go 17k shift 5j yank 17j again, paste all of this. Let's go 3 words forward, and then let's change this into, let's change to the end of this word. Let's do a calculate or get meal price. Get meal price. And then a get request. Will a get request be able to, receive a JSON? A get request is just getting information, right? Can you provide, I think you can, right? Can you provide a get request with a JSON? Wait, when I make it, wait, let me just switch it up. When I make a get request, can JSON? Query parameters. Okay. So I guess I should do this. Query parameters. Honestly, I might need to ask AI to like explain that idea, right? I mean, I did have a, wait, let me see. I had a project for a class where we did some sort of like, maybe not. Close this. query parameters. So let me think. So I'm gonna ask Grok for the high level implementation, or just an idea, not of the code, but like, no, I don't want. Let me see. I don't want any code, but I am programming a web app. Say in the scenario that I need to make a GET request, but I need information alongside that GET request to make a SQL query to provide to assist in calculating to send back that response from what I searched up. Typically, GET requests do not have a body parameter. So how would one provide some extra information that will help the GET request? GET requests are designed to be read-only and safe to cache and repeat. Every web framework has built-in simple ways to read query parameters on the server. No body is needed. The information travels in the URL itself. It keeps your request clean, idempotent. Okay. How would you structure it? Which table or data set to query? Some filter values. Suppose you need to tell the server a data range, search term, or other details of the SQL calculation. You would make the GET request to a URL that looks like this. No actual code, but the idea is, calculate result. Okay, so I just need to look at Axiom on how to provide query parameters. Okay. Alright, I am now going to use the bathroom. But I wanted to see something on YouTube Studio. Let's see. Okay. I will now use the restroom. Okay, I'm back. So all right. So what we need to do is create query parameters in the URL. So when I make the GET request, I'm going to attach extra data, so key value pairs at the end of the URL. So I need to see, how does Axiom read these query parameters on the server? Let's see. So what we need to do is go to Axiom, and let's see if they have a way to extract query parameters. So let's move this out here. Let's go to Axiom. Oh, okay. So I think it's this. So I want the path. Query parameters. I think this is what it is. Yep. This is what I need right here. So let's do a little test, I guess. Test of the get meal prices, right? So let's do a very small function. So let's do a pub async, and then I'm gonna GC this out. Before 6k pub async fn query, and then we'll do query params, and then it'll be of type query hash map string, and then I think okay, sorry, I was removing that. So we need Axiom extract JSON state and then query. Let's go back to where we were, and then can I just do println? I'm gonna do a debug, and then just the query, so params. And then let's go to main, and I want to do a get request. Not a get request, but more. I'm gonna return a JSON value of. So let's do a dot route slash test param. How do I create the route though? Because I'm thinking the params, query or params. How do I create these? routing, and then let's go to router. Yep, here. So key, so users, and then ID. A query using path. What about query? What is query? Nesting routers with state. Query. Can I just look up the query? Here. Oh wait, query gives. Oh, so they're all post requests. So what's the difference between a query and a path? Hmm. Oh, okay. So we'll do dot route slash, and then let me go back to handlers, and then I'm gonna just do the query. So main slash query. This will be a get, and then it'll be handlers query, and then let's go back to handlers, and then I want to return the JSON. Query params, and it'll be a hash map. And then we can deserialize it too. So Okay, so we'll do, I'm going to create a struct test query, and pub, and then pound derive debug deserialize, and I'll do a and then we'll do test, and then it's going to be a string. Oh, let me go back, and then let's go to query. Here, and then change inside here. Wait, no. Change inside this, and we'll name this. I think it's what? Test query. And then I want to do a print one of and then we'll do params dot test. And that's it. Just want to do that. Let's go back to main, and then I think all queries start with path and then question mark, and then what it is. Right, so right quit. Let's do a run. Seems to work. Then let's do a curl -x. Let's do a get from http //localhost 3000 /query question mark, and then the query that we want, right? And then it should be test, and test is equal to let's do finals, and then oh yeah, that works. Yo, was good. Okay, we figured it out. Alright, so exit, learn something new every day. And Vim source, and then let's go to handlers. So let's go to test query, and then we'll change this to alright. So what was our to do? We can just go Control O. So we want to pass in our meal ID. So let's do this function will be named calculate meal price, so or get meal price. So I think we had it down here. Yeah, we did. So we can just change it here. So change to the end. So get meal price, and then let's name test query. What should query be named? Meal price params. So let's go to test query, and then I want to rename all instances. So let's do %s // and then we'll name this get meal price params. So get meal price param. Parameters, well, it's just one parameter /g. So get meal price param, And let's go back up to where we were. Let's change this. So this will change word to ID. Meal ID. Get meal price parameter. We'll change to the end. Should be an I-64. And we have that now, right? So now we need to do an SQLX query and get the row. So I guess before we do that, let's do a println, and then you are looking for meal ID, and then we'll do params dot meal ID, and then we'll do another run. Yes, you are right. So handlers, and this should be called get meal price. So boom, change to the end, get meal price. Let's name this, change to the end, get meal price. Okay. Our last curl, and this should be get meal price, and then the query we want to pass in should be our meal ID, which should be equal to, say, 2. You're looking for meal ID 2. Yep. Okay. Exit env source, and let's go to handlers again. So we have our mail ID. Next step is to execute this query here. So, and then we need, all I need from there is get the meal price. Is that what I'm doing? Yes, I need the price from, no, your price from our meal to ingredient where meal ID is equal to 1. Then for each row we retrieve, do another query where we get the price, and then can I sum these all up? Like, is there a way to just all those numbers, just sum them up? Maybe, I don't know. Okay, so now it's time to dive into the documentation for SQLX. So I think it's gonna move this. Where's my this is it. So fetch, and let's go to SQLX, and then I need some example code, so I'm gonna probably, can you take me to the repository, please? So I think they kind of explain it here. Make a simple query to return the given parameter. Fetch 1. I want to fetch all. Can I do that? So fetch query finalizes return a stream-like type that iterates through all the rows and result sets. Oh, okay, so this is the code right here. Yep, okay. So let's do the first. So we'll do, seems like we'll need to use, so use SQLX, and then let's do row provides try get, and then try next. So use futures util try stream exit. Maybe not. We'll bring me back. Shift GGC. We'll just wait. No. Shift GC. Yeah. All right. Bring me back to where I was just at. Okay. this right here. Okay. I think I'm gonna do this one. This one seems a lot more intuitive. So, okay. Let's say let mutable rows is equal to SQLX query. And then here should be select ingredient ID from meal to ingredient where meal ID is equal, and then can I do, let me just make the query, so let query equal, and then format select I don't need to type all this out. Let me just yank inside the quotation marks, paste in here where meal ID is equal to, and then just provide params.meal ID. And then forward to here, delete inside this, and then not yep. And then we'll do, actually I can just use the bind. What am I doing? Change inside here. So v inside, no, delete inside here, and then v inside here, paste our meal ID is equal to, and then maybe $sign. Let me move this over here, boom, and this should be dot bind, and then params dot meal ID, and then here should be dot fetch, and then oh, we need to add the state as well, so I'm in the same state dot pull. I don't know why we need a mutable. Can I provide a mutable? Yeah, it won't work unless I define state as mutable. And then I guess while let some, why is it like that? Well, it's capital. While let some row is equal to rows dot try next. Obviously we don't have try dot next. When do we do? Let, and then I guess And then I'm gonna have up here a let, I guess in this case, ingredient IDs. And then we'll do let ingredient ID equal row dot try underscore get, and then what we're trying to get in this case should be wait, no, select ingredient ID. Yeah. And then let's do a let, and then we'll do if we get it, then we'll do ingredient IDs dot, I think, push ingredient ID. And then future utils, cargo add futures util. I seen that we needed row, and then we need shift GC, and then control O dot push, and then honestly, I might just use I think we just do the anyhow. I'm thinking, can we do let ingredient select ingredient ID? I'm gonna try this other one. Maybe I honestly like it better. params dot state. What's the trouble here? Did I mess something up? Oh, it's just because of what I'm returning. What's the return types that I can use for Axiom? Let's pull this over. Use Saturday JSON. Delete till handlers. I think I know why. So we need to make sure that it can't just be like this, bro. Here to shift R and then change to here, and then I don't know, implement into a response. We can just do URI evacuate. Vec, and then it should be a vec of I-64s. Oh, I'm returning okay. Oh, you have to prepare it? Set the database URL. Why must I set up the database URL? Query. Oh. I guess I'll just stick to the one that was on the GitHub. I'll just follow this. Oh, okay, that makes sense. This should be. Okay, let's see. Let's see how this works. It doesn't seem I need to have a variable. I can just put a question mark there. Run. Nice. Okay. Minus main. Really? Axiom. Can I do a JSON instead? I'm gonna try the JSON, so let's try handlers. And then for to be change till here, and let's do a JSON rec I60 was I60 and then oh, that works, right? Please work. Oh my goodness. Okay. Moment of truth. So I honestly kind of forgot what my function does, but let's do a wait. Let's go z ppmc bat source handle. No, let's go to main, and we see that we have a get meal price, and we provide the parameter. So let's do curl, right? Curl, and then meal ID 2, right? Do we have a meal ID? So let's go to control SQLite, and then let's do select star from meal. We have one meal, so let's this one, and then that actually does return it. And to verify this, we can do select star from meal to ingredient, and we get ingredient IDs 1 and 2. So we are get meal price, meal ID 1. Like, we're actually going somewhere with this, bro. Okay. So and then handlers. We can remove this. So yes, and then yeah, we do this. Then for each row that we retrieve to another query, so select price, so all the prices for each ingredient. Wait, is there a query? Is there a query that I can do in SQL where I provide it? But the thing is, we won't know how many ingredient IDs we'll have for that meal, right? So we'll just have to do. Man, that could take a long time. It'll be O then. we'll have to, so for each ingredient, I have to search the meal to ingredient table to get it and then calculate it. Hmm? I could probably refactor it soon. So now we'll do let my rows equal SQLX and then a query. But now we want to do this. So for ID and ingredient IDs, I want to do a bunch of queries. So we'll do let my rows equal SQLX query, and then select price from ingredient where ID is equal to question mark, and then enter dot bind. We're gonna bind ID dot fetch at state dot pool, and then while let some row equal rows dot try next dot await dot unwrap. We'll do let price, which is going to be an F64 equal row dot try get price dot unwrap, and then we'll have a let prices equal, it'll be a let ingredient and let prices. And then, oh, actually, we don't need an array. We just do need let my prices, which would be of F64. Set a JSON, please. god, I could see, yo, this is very bad, bro. Just the design of this is terrible. Oh, the design of the database is terrible. I think I should have really tracked the total. I think when we create a meal, the total price will start at 0, and every time you add an ingredient, we'll automatically update it. But this is currently how we're gonna have to do it. So, let's calculate the current price, right? I think we have it over here, but it should be 52 cents. So, let's do select star from meal, and then let's do a run, and then let's do a curl, and then yep, that's it. I mean, that's the meal, but we're having to think about it, right? If we had to populate, so say I had a dashboard of all my meals, and then it showed me the total price for that meal. Every single time that we wanted to populate all of them, or maybe we don't, we just have a search, but then every time we search for that meal, we'd have to, if you wanted to get the total price, I think the structure of the meal here, we should have our total price, and then each time we add an ingredient to this meal, then that post is created for the meal. We're instantiating probably 2 more post requests. So a post request to create the ingredient, a post request to update our meal to ingredient, and then our post request to our meal to increment the price of that meal, or to update the price of the meal. So I'm gonna have notes probably here. Consider adding total price to meal so that we don't have to calculate, in the case where the user is looking at their dashboard of all their meals, we don't need to, for n meals, do n additions for n ingredients. So it's like, I think it's O n squared for all meals. And I think that's pretty large. Maybe it's not very minimal, but I feel like I can bring this down to O of n, or not even just O of 1, to even just get it. And I feel like that's a very big increase. So yeah, let's move this, because this control S, and then close that. I think I'm gonna just get up, go outside, walk, like that. This was a good programming session. So well, we hit this again. I mean, we can do the curl and we get our actual price of our meal. So yeah, I think that kind of sums it up. So ls, and then we'll do this status get add git commit -m. And then what did we do high level for this stream? We can honestly just pull up the GitHub too. So let me move this over here so I don't open up a random tab, right? So let's go to So currently, let me look at the handlers. All we had was create source and create measurement unit. And then now let me see what we added. I mean, I am going to remove J, delete. We added all this. So create meal, create ingredient. I'm gonna just say edit simple, create endpoints. So git commit -m added simple create endpoints for all tables, and then added slow way to calculate meal price. And then yeah, I think that's it. So I want to say thank you guys for coming out to the stream. If you're watching this after, and if you made it this far, thank you. But really, I need to do a review on how the database looks like, right? So based on this whole stream, if you can kind of piece together, let me open up the planning document. Here, do you think we should add a field here that says total price? And should I just get rid of the meal to ingredient mapping? Is this unnecessary? Or should I, add a meal ID here instead? And then maybe, but the thing is, I don't know how I would have like an array of ingredient IDs for meal ID. I think I need to have this to actually, look at all the ingredients for the meals. So, yeah. We'll see. But thank you guys for watching. And, you guys got this.